walk around. I have a little bit of ADHD, and I'll feel so much better walking. And by the way, gracias, grazie, salamat, hold on, Kabbalah, shukran, dziękuję bardzo. I can't read my writing. Don't know Bob, I'm going to cheat. Okay? And again, just very shen, domo arigato, thank you for being here. It really means a lot to me because learning is very, very important to me. A lot of personal reasons. My parents were immigrants to the United States. I am 100% Polish. And during World War II, they spent their teenage years in concentration camps. And they didn't have the opportunity for education. And when my parents finally came to the United States with my two brothers, my mother cleaned houses for about probably 40, 50 years. I clean a kick-ass toilet, I will tell you that, okay, just to let you know, all right? I do very well with that because I was taught that. My father worked in fields and eventually worked in a factory. But they didn't have much education. And the one thing they wanted all four of us children to have was a college degree. It was a non-issue. Again, we grew up extremely, extremely poor. I remember the first house we moved into had no running water. My father had to put in pipes, and I think electricity was already there, but they had to do a lot of upgrading. And this is, I'm going to be very honest, this was in the 1950s, a long time ago. Anyway, he did that. We started school. Once again, the big thing my parents stressed was education, education. And, you know, I could be cleaning houses. I could be really, really having a very challenging life. Nothing wrong with cleaning houses. It's an important job. But I'm really grateful to my parents because today I have a PhD because they pushed and encouraged and encouraged. But one of the things that got me very interested in cognition and human learning was I never knew how to learn, okay? I remember being in elementary school. I'm going to be very honest. I did well in school eventually. Initially, I didn't read until 4th grade, okay? My parents didn't really quite know what to do either. I remember asking my mother, I was doing algebra homework or whatever, and she said, Elżbieta, tyś masz książkę? That was my mother. Now, let me give you the English version of Mom. And you see that? You have textbook? Yes, Mom, I have a textbook. Read it. And that's what I did. And that kind of helped me there, believe it or not, because a lot of times, and I'm going to be honest, even in my undergrad classes and in grad school, I didn't always read the chapters. Okay, I mean, you have so many classes and so much stuff to do. How the heck do you squeeze this all in? It's impossible. So today, I hope that I can help you learn how to learn and also have some fun at the same time. I thank you for coming. I had an opportunity to meet a number of you. Some of you came from work, from classes. Wow. I've got to be honest. If I were you, I'd probably don't want to take a nap. Okay? But the fact that you have this motivation and drive, you're already on track. You're already doing the right thing. I have a number of students. I teach at Central Arizona College, just down the road, and I have a number of students that drove up. I love you guys. So it's a long drive. So anyway, thank you. But anyway, let's go ahead and we'll get started here. All right, A Tale of Two Cities. Okay, City of Trees, the Amazon, okay? I like to work with analogies. That's one way we learn better. If you have a very foreign, challenging concept, if you can kind of create an analogy of something that you understand, your prior knowledge, you do better. So, the Amazon, City of Trees, consists of approximately 100 billion trees, okay? Each tree contains about 10,000 leaves. The leaves connect through touch, creating about 1,000 trillion connections. Pretty amazing, pretty impressive. And then, of course, we have the Amazon right there. Size, 1.5 billion acres. Okay? City number one. City number two. The city of life, the human brain, consists of 100 billion nerve cells, neurons. Each neuron is connected to approximately 10,000 other neurons. Your brain right now, by looking and hearing and feeling the temperature of the room, is on fire. Plus you're trying to make sense of what I'm saying, connecting with what you already know, so that the new information will connect to your old information. Wow, neural pathways, you're a miracle. Each one of you is a miracle. Okay, total neural connections are approximately 1,000 trillion. 1,000 trillion. Okay, the size, if you put your two fists together, that's about the size of your brain. Weighs approximately 3 pounds. It's squishy, like tofu, if you're in vogue today, or back then, when I was in college, Jell-O. Okay, so it's Jell-O then, now tofu is a little bit more in vogue, I think it's more classy. Okay, so there you have it. 2 different cities. Now, let's talk about fancy containers, boxes. And by the way, the font is messed up. I used a different font that I thought was cooler, and for some reason, when it came here, it didn't quite work out. So I apologize, the font is boring. Fancy containers, boxes. What about a container for the human brain? Okay? Fancy containers for the human brain. You go and you just look at yourself, the person next to you. This is nothing more than a beautiful, elaborate, intricate, amazing, fancy package. Because you remove the brain, and what do you have left? A corpse. Absolutely nothing. It's not going to do anything, right? Okay? So you take your 2 fists, put them together. This is what you run on. You're all familiar with the Energizer Bunny. You're basically an Energizer Bunny that can do a zillion more things, but you've got to have the brain, just like Energizer Bunny needs his batteries. So the brain is this miraculous thing that helps us breathe, our heartbeats, digest, do this amazing thing in the air, a football, do this amazing dance. I don't know much about ballet, sorry. Again, we dress ourselves. We're so obsessed with, taking care of this package. I think we forget the brain. Okay, the brain. I met with the vice president of Central Arizona College today. Actually, she came to one of my classes and did a presentation. She's an anthropologist. She's amazing. And we were talking today, and as an anthropologist and as a psychologist, we agree the brain doesn't know color. It doesn't care what color your skin is. It doesn't care what your religion is. It doesn't care your gender. And it really doesn't care how old you are. Yes, aging does impact the brain. That is true. But I intentionally selected this progression here from young to old because here's an older guy who's quite healthy. He's taking care of himself. He's eating right, he's exercising, and I bet you his brain is pretty darn sharp. Okay, we don't have much time. I'm aware that I respect your time because a lot of you are tired, and we'll get through this. And if you have questions at the end, we can certainly take care of that. But if you remember from your Psych 101 class, the different lobes of the brain, okay, we have the parietal lobe, language and touch, the occipital, we have the cerebellum, balance and coordination. If you're an athlete, this is your favorite part. Temporal lobe, hearing, learning, feelings, the brainstem, of course, breathing, heartbeat, and temperature. But this sucker right here, this is the one that is really us. Okay, this is the upper cortex. This is where we need to belong most of the time. A little more detail here. Again, please notice the frontal lobe, reflection, judgment, emotional reaction, probably logical emotional reaction, not crazy emotional reaction. let me see, writing, creativity, thought, activation, adverse movements, okay? Lying. Lying is in the frontal cortex. Imagine that. That's not particularly rational, but you know what? You have to be creative and intelligent to lie pretty well, don't you? So lying comes into play. Okay, the limbic system. That's the land down under, the subcortex. We have, and this is, of course we need the entire brain, of course, okay? However, if you look at this, the amygdala and the hippocampus and most of these other parts is where we house our emotions. Emotions are very, very important. But you know what? In the United States, I think as Americans, we let our emotions control us. I have this little saying. I think the hardest person you will ever raise won't be your children, it will be yourself. It's that, do I go to that lecture tonight on learning, or do I go home and rest, or watch TV, or watch the World Series, or, you know, all these other thoughts, right? That's the reality. We kind of mess with our minds by going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and we drive ourselves crazy. That's the problem. We need to rely more on the upper, the cerebral cortex, the part of us that is that logical, rational. I'm going to school, I'm going to college because I have an amazing brain and I want an amazing future. Because you deserve it. That's your right. Okay, let's get a bit more cerebral here, cognition. I had the privilege of attending, my husband is a family practice physician, an amazing man. And he attended this weekend, the American Academy of Family Practice had like a conference in Scottsdale. So I go with him just to attend the sessions on like psych, okay? And there was one on generalized anxiety disorder. There were other ones on pain. I wasn't allowed to attend those, and that's fine. Again, it's for physicians. But he came in and cracked me up because he said, Liz, because they're talking about all this cognitive therapy stuff. They're talking about all this stuff. And I'm like, boy, did you marry the right woman or what? He rolled his eyes. So anyway, because my background is cognition, the cool thing about being a cognitive psychologist, educational psychologist, is it's extremely optimistic. And as we progress tonight, you'll see why. Okay, so again, pain management is guided by empirical research, the development of personal coping strategies. Oh, Lordy, where does that come from? Here, frontal cortex. It's problem-focused and action-focused, just like a human information processing model that you're going to learn today. Okay, practitioners help patients, clients discover and practice effective strategies. You have goals, you identify your symptoms, and you logically, rationally, creatively deal with it. Wow, imagine that. Using your mind. Yes, pain, anxiety, medication may help, okay? But they're saying in disorders like generalized anxiety disorder that sometimes cognitive behavioral therapy alone can manage it. It's stopping that stinking thinking. What am I doing in school? I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I don't belong here. That's toxic. Those are horrible thoughts, and we have to stop them. So this is what I absolutely love. Cognitive behavioral therapy controls thought distortions, maladaptive behaviors that play a role in the development of and maintenance of a lot of psych disorders. Wow. Related to worry, pain can be reduced by presenting new information processing, I love that word, information processing, skills, coping mechanisms, and emotional self-regulation. Emotional self-regulate. Don't let your anxiety and your worry go crazy. Your fears, your anger go crazy. It's mind over matter. All right. So you think you can learn. And you can see I unabashedly stole that from so you think you can dance. My mom loves to watch that show. So I was watching it with her one night, and I thought, I'm going to steal the title. So, you think you can learn? Let's check out some evidence. All right, this is the PISA, the Program for International Student Assessment. This one was conducted in 2015, and I just want you to look at this. These are the countries that are involved. Okay, take a quick look at the map. We have the United States, Mexico, South America, Europe, Africa, all over, virtually every continent. Okay, this is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. 34 member countries run it, okay, lead it. They are democratic countries, support free market economies, and every 3 years they measure 15-year-olds in 72 countries. 72 countries around the world. Okay, 540,000 students took the exam in 2015. How do you think the United States did? Let's find out. Let's find out. All right. First of all, here's the average. The purple line indicates the average score. All right. Woohoo! Yay! Look, reading. Yay! We're above average. Science, we're above average. Math. Oh. Okay. Give me a second. I'll show you the second half of that slide. I couldn't fit it all into one, otherwise you'd be blind. So, but would you please pay attention to the countries here? Singapore, Asian. Hong Kong, Asian. Macau, Taiwan, Japan, China, Korea, Asian. Then we have some European countries. Holy moly, Canada, just north. Okay, more European countries. And of course, Australia, New Zealand, a continent down under, Vietnam, Asian, European Asian. Okay, you get it. Okay, please look. All right, Asian, European. Now, the next slide shows you the rest of the scores. Okay, the United States were below average in math, and then we have these other countries. Okay, just take a moment, just kind of look. Maybe you want to see where your home country, your homeland is how they did. And this kind of connects to my dissertation study, because I was really interested in why do some families, some children do well in school, and others don't? It kind of floored me because of how I grew up. I was really poor. And my family just said, go to school, do your homework. That's all I knew. That's all I ever heard. How to do it, another story. But the point is, I think just the fact that my parents said, study, you can do it, was enough. All right, here we go. All right, quiz. You are born with a level of intelligence that is fixed for life. True or false? Oh, I love you. A, make sure when you get your extra credit, you get double, okay? I said so. All right, very good. But see, this is a biased group. You're college students. You're in college because you know that you can build and develop your intelligence. So you're already there. All right. Carol Dweck, Indiana University, amazing woman, conducted studies. How do people look at the construct of ability? Your ability, okay? Her theories explain why some students are motivated to work harder, and why other students kind of like, whoa, learned helplessness, okay? They quit. They have these self-defeating attitudes. Okay, students are either identity theorists or incremental theorists. Which one are you? Ability is entity. Entity theorists view intelligence as fixed. You can't change it. Even if you go to school in a 10 class, you are still going to be stupid. No matter what you do, I'm still going to struggle. I have those bad genes. Okay, it's just not in me. It's again, toxic thinking. They blame their lack of intelligence. I wasn't born smart, motivated. When they're successful, they're very happy. But as soon as the assignment, the homework gets a little bit more challenging and harder, they quit. They're likely to quit, I should say. Okay, they don't think they have it in it. They strongly, strongly are concerned about how they look in front of everybody. They hate looking stupid. They hate looking dumb. They hate making mistakes, looking like a failure. You know, ability is incremental. This is all of you, okay? They view intelligence, ability, learnable, fluid, malleable, buildable, expandable. Wow. When situations become challenging, all of you, you have a load of homework. I know you do, okay? One beautiful lady came in, she worked today. She came in. You guys came in to attend this because you wanted to learn, and you wanted to develop your ability even more. An incremental mindset is shown to contribute to better cognitive and academic performance, and this is evidence. You saw those Asian countries. That's evidence, ladies and gentlemen. That's fact. It is a cultural thing. It's very, very cultural. I have some Asian students in my class, and they tell me that. Students who come from Africa perform very well in school. They study and rehearse European countries. Okay, belief and effort. This is from Carbonaro, 2005. Effort is the amount of time and energy you're willing to expend. Okay, in meeting formal academic requirements established by the school. Okay, it's goal specific. Different students may exert a lot of effort on things that interest them, and maybe less effort on things that aren't as interesting to them. That's human nature. Okay. Belief in applying ability and effort. Applying or exerting effort increases your ability, your intelligence. And now we have more evidence, more scientific evidence. Fact. Your brain's capacity is 2.5 petabytes or 1 million gigabytes. So, do you know what that means? In one lifetime, you could become a psychologist, get bored, go back to school, become a physician, get bored, become an attorney, go into business. You can have multiple careers. Your brain is never going to fill up. Okay, it will never, never, ever fill up. All right, and by the way, that's the equivalent of remember with the VCRs, those little tapey things? Okay, good. That would be the equivalent of constantly running a TV VCR, recording for 300 years. So again, it's 2017, and we know a lot about the human body. The brain is still kind of foreign to us, unfortunately, even though we have things like functional MRIs and various other more complex scans. It's still kind of foreign to us. Okay, the human learning paradox. Our ability to correctly learn is a learned ability. Go figure. All right, James Casserly, occupational therapist, that's very, very true. So when did you take your first course in human learning, in metacognition? None of us did. Maybe your teachers taught you things, maybe your parents taught you things. Okay, honey, open up your textbook like my mother. Sit still and read it. Okay? Maybe. If you have parents with education, they may have helped you, which is wonderful. All right, another dilemma. This is a popular misconception, really not good, because this is what causes frustration in all of us. This causes a lot of frustration. Okay, the human brain at your present age learns new information. A, like sucking it up like a sponge, okay? Or B, one drop at a time. Or like a window that periodically opens and closes. How many say A? Okay. How many say B? Okay, and how about C? All right. The correct answer, this is the frustration, is B. It's just one bit at a time. We're going to do an exercise in a little bit, and I'm going to prove it to you. Okay. In many first, second, third world countries, teaching children how to learn is the responsibility, again, especially your Asian countries, your European countries, many places in Africa. is parents, siblings. Siblings tutor younger siblings with homework. Okay, again, dissertation research, but this holds true today. Immigrant children, regardless of their socioeconomic status or their parents' level of education, it is, ladies and gentlemen, it's educational valuing. They know that if you go to school and you do really, really well, this is going to totally change your life. You're not going to work in the fields anymore, okay? Or you're not going to, you know, whatever, okay? It's going to dramatically change your life, and it does. These are the things that parents teach. They say, when you go to school, starting in kindergarten, sit still, be polite, listen. That helps. That helps. I taught preschool for about 6 years. It helps. Study what you learned every single day after school until you know it, until you have it memorized. You know it by heart. My mother used to say that all the time. Okay, so again, this is that repetition. These are things, parents, even if they don't have a lot of education or a lot of money, okay, they still can say, sit down, do your homework. Teachers are likely to perform better when their students are pre-programmed to learn when they come in the classroom. We're all worried. We're obsessed about class size in the United States. You go to China, Japan, you go around the world, Africa, India, and you'll see 50 kids, third graders, fifth graders, crammed into a classroom, and they're all sitting pretty darn still. I've seen it. Pretty amazing. Okay, here we go. Let's do human information processing model. This model was developed by a professor of mine, and we kind of took it and kind of elaborated it together, expanded it together. It does come from the Atlas and Schifrin model. The multi-star model developed in 1968. We just added some additional little steps to it, did a little bit of tweaking. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. 4 stages here. We have attend, which is the sensory input. We have encode, which is used to be called short-term memory, and your textbooks may still have it, but according to cognitive psychologists, that word is gone. It's now called working memory because it's more accurate. Third, retrieve and replace, long-term memory, and finally, the 4th stage is maintenance, or use it or lose it. All right, let's get going here. Okay, so attend, the 1st stage. Now, this is. The senses are the brain's gatekeepers. Okay, if you're not attuned to your senses, you're gonna have problems. Okay, phase 1, how does learning occur? And I can't stress this enough. Through complete concentration, sensory intake introduces new bits of information into the brain. But you need to engage as many senses as you possibly can. Okay, usually in the classroom, what are you doing? You're looking. You're hearing, okay? If you're in a lecture, you know, the kind of death by PowerPoint, like right now, okay, death by PowerPoint. How many of you, if you take a lab, hands-on, how many of you prefer those? Labs are a little bit more fun because you get to use your hands, you get to actually do. Not just see, not just hear, you get to do. Makes a big difference. Distractions are horrible competitors for the brain. We're going to talk about distractions in a moment. Again, what's going on in the brain? Sensory intake. The more senses involved, the better. Okay, here's a learning exercise. Okay, maybe you probably know this. This is the Stroop test. Okay, now this has to do with 1 drop at a time. All right, and heavy-duty concentration. Focus, attend. Now, in the following slides, say the color of the word out loud. Don't read the word. Say the color of the word out loud. Do not say the word itself. Again, say the color of the word. This is the Stroop test. Okay, you brilliant people, are you ready? On the count of 1, 2, 3. Go.
Red, green, blue, yellow, pink, orange, blue, green, blue, white, green, yellow, orange, blue, white, brown, red, blue, yellow, green, pink, yellow, green, blue, red.
One more time. Remember, you're going to say the color of the words. Now, when you read a word, you say color. And you know what? Go fast.
Green, yellow, white, pink, orange, blue, red,
I said tell your instructor to give you double extra credit. Like it all. No, you did a beautiful job, but it was tricky, wasn't it? So, this is how you felt. What happened, your brain was trying to do two things at once. You know, in the United States, we talk about multitask, multitask, and that's really a problem in the world of work. We don't multitask particularly effectively. Now, when you've done something over and over and over and over again, it bumps up the opportunity, the possibility that you can. Because you were doing a learning exercise and you were learning something new. If you went and trained doing the street test, you could probably train yourself to read, to state the color of the word and go much faster. So again, your brain, you know, we don't multitask things well, especially if it's a brand new sort of a thing. Okay, barriers to attending and their solutions. You know, I think this is probably the hardest thing for students to understand, all students, and myself included. When I started graduate school, I was in my 30s. I had 2 little kids, and spread thin. And so anyway, that's beside the point. But the thing is, distractions. I can't stress to you how difficult it is, how problematic it is when distractions occur. Okay, for example, sleepiness. Do I have any faculty members in here? Okay, they're home taking a nap, but they should. We're older, we need our nap, okay? You wear us out. Okay, as an instructor, I'll be instructing a class and again, and of course students, I know they have crazy schedules, but they might be nodding off sleep. You know, and I feel bad. Because are they attending? Are you attending or sleeping? Okay, not going to happen. Okay, so sleep is meant, you need it. You have to try very, very hard to get as much sleep as you can. Okay, otherwise you will fall asleep in class. Hunger. I encourage my students to always have food with them. Okay, and I've got to be honest, I like to see them eat more like fruits and vegetables if that's possible, or cheese or whatever. I love string cheese. I keep string cheese sticks in my bag. They can stay in your bag 1 month, no refrigeration. Honest to God. Now, you have to be European, because Europeans like cheese room temperature, okay? If you don't, I'm in trouble. Okay, sorry. But no chips, no chocolate, no crap. Okay, don't eat rubbish. That's not going to help you. Okay, illness, physical pain. Okay, I had students who were die-hard, dedicated, and they come in and they're sneezing and coughing, and you know they don't feel well. I've had students come in, I touch the back of their neck, they are so hot, they have a fever. I say, get out of here, go home, sleep. You know, don't. You know, I mean, illness is illness. You know, you need to take care of yourself. And technically, you can make other students sick, which is certainly not a good thing. So, you know, if you have a headache, if you have something that is treatable with something over the counter, you know, fine. But otherwise, take care of yourself. Emotional pain. Emotional pain and negative thoughts, I'm going to cluster together. Okay, oh, sorry, this is not, they're supposed to be lined up, and I apologize for that. You just had a fight with your roommate. You had a fight with your parents. I mean, it was bad. And you leave the house and you don't even want to go to school, but you're going to go to school because you know you need to go. Or you don't want to go to work or whatever. I try to remind my students when they hit the threshold, the door threshold of the class, this is your time. There's nothing you can do about that fight or that breakup with a boyfriend or girlfriend. Put it on the back burner, at least for the next 75 minutes, and focus. This is your time to get better, to become a better you. Deal with the problem later, because that will destroy you. If you're trying to listen to a lecture and you're so distracted by all this other stuff, it's not going to happen. That's the same with the negative thoughts, negative thought stopping. Okay, we're going to do this right now. And I want you to well, you don't need to tell me, but I want you to think about how you feel after this. What is happening in your brain? On the count of 3, at the top of your lungs, yell out, stop. 1, 2, 3, stop! What is your brain? Well, a lot of you are laughing, which is a good sign, okay? Guess what that does? When we have thoughts replaying in our head over and over again, and you yell stop, that disrupts those neurons from going around and around and around. Temporarily, yes, I know, but it put a smile on your face, made you laugh. These are strategies that we teach students because, again, it's toxic thinking. Again, we call it stinking thinking, and you have to control it. You have to go. Remember we said that the subcortex, that limbic system underneath was the house for your emotions. We had to get out of there and go upstairs and go to the prefrontal cortex and start using our logic, our rationale. If you need to talk to someone. But get out of the basement and go upstairs in your brain. Loud noises, go to the library, use a fan for white noise. Drugs, I don't even think I need to tell you. Don't. ADHD, depression, anxiety, medication, therapy, self-regulation. Start by seeing your general practitioner, your family practice doctor, if you believe you have any of these. And if you've been diagnosed, take your medication. See a counselor. I bet the college has counseling here. Lack of valuing, this is a big one. Again, in the United States, this is a problem. School is gold. Learning is gold. There's an expression. If knowledge is power, and learning increases knowledge, then learning is power. Okay, technology, huge distractor. I put this in here. I've had a number of students over the years who are failing all their classes. They want to be a dentist, for example. There's one young man who wanted to be a dentist, and he was failing my class, which was what we call a CPD 101. It's like a one-credit class that you do well in college. And because he was spending about 6 hours a day on Facebook, 6 hours a day, that's not going to work. Okay? Treat yourself to 1 hour after you've done all your homework. Okay? Very, very tough. When you're trying to learn, you develop gaps in your learning because the information is not a steady flow. I have another example here. Again, when you're very well concentrated and those neurons are creating this beautiful pathway, this is what, a very loose analogy, but it's what your brain would look like. Whereas you have gaps. You go take a test with gaps in your knowledge, gaps in your information, you're going to struggle. You're not going to remember everything because it's not solid. Okay, second, encoding process. We organize, we elaborate, we rehearse. Encoding organization, you constantly do this all the time. You're taking in new information and connecting it with what you already know. That's how we function as humans, okay? Think about the classes you've gone into. Probably like physics, chemistry, maybe biology, or statistics. I had a statistics student here somewhere. It can be very foreign because you have no prior knowledge. That's when it really hurts to learn. It's painful. It really, really is. It's uncomfortable. It's painful because you have no prior knowledge to connect it with. As a college student, this is natural and normal. You're developing your prior knowledge now. Most of us, that prior knowledge comes from kindergarten through grade 12. But at the university, at the community college, not the university, grad school, when you all get your doctorate, be ready. You're going to learn a lot of that prior information, that prior knowledge today, now. Okay, the less you know about something, the more time-consuming it is to learn it, but you will learn it. Don't get pissed, don't get bitchy, don't get angry, just do it. Just do it. Okay, encoding exercise. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to show you some letters, which you just saw very briefly. And I'm going to ask you to do this. I didn't think this went out really well. Hold on. All right. All right, study them. I'll give you a couple seconds. See if you can memorize this. If you write them down, don't write them down. Remember this. All right. Is anyone brave enough to stand up, and does anyone want to recite at least some of them? Okay, please.
Okay. I, B, N, C, A, L, F, M, T, V, U, M, S, E, C, I forgot the rest. C, A, I, T, S.
Did you use a stretch? All right, now watch this. This is called chunking. Again, same letters. Luke's analogy here. But if you take information that is really confusing to you, break it into pieces that are more meaningful. Okay? Break it into pieces that are more meaningful. Again, exact same letters, FBI, MTV, YMCA, ITV. All right. This is another example of organization, and again, particularly drawing from prior knowledge, which is what you do. You recognize these symbols immediately. This is kindergarten through grade 12. These, maybe, if you're a writer or someone has proofread your paper, these, maybe you'd figure out that these are money denominations by recognizing the dollar, and you assume the rest. Okay, again, so in this case, this is where like prior knowledge might come in. If you've never traveled the world or seen any other foreign currency, you go, okay, that's a dollar, I bet that's foreign currency. Prior knowledge, okay? Prior knowledge. This, I don't even know some of them. Again, maybe you draw from prior knowledge and then you also take what you just learned recently in a class. Mathematics, for example. Okay, so lifelong reading, I can't stress this enough. I worked at a high school for about 7 years as a practicing clinical educational psychologist. I worked with students 9th through 12th grade. And the kids who came from really bad parts of Pinal County, well, Casa Grande area, the ones who did really well in school, who didn't get into trouble, their parents corrected them when they were little. I can't stress that to you. No matter how old you are, you have an infant, you have children, adults, older adults. Keeps you very, very sharp. You'll learn something new. Okay, encoding, elaboration, second process, second step still. Elaboration is, again, it's taking that new information, you're organizing it in your mind, connecting with what you already know. From simple to complex, that's the big thing, especially as college students. This is why college, do you know how many people go to college and graduate? In the United States, how many people do you think, what percentage of Americans do you think have a bachelor's degree? Very good. It's approximately 30%. Where's the other 70%? What are they doing? Okay? They can't do this. Or they don't want to do this. It's taking ideas from the simple and you have to make it complex. You take the notes from the class lecture, from the PowerPoint slide, from your textbook, from the internet, and you have to elaborate. You've got to take time to do that. I think there was a wonderful young lady statistics student. I can't stress reading the textbook, reading the vocabulary, the key terms, and really understanding that. I believe that will help big time. Okay, encoding, now we elaborate again on basically, what does this look like to me, this new information? What does it look like to me? Do I already know it? What does it sound like to me? What does it mean to me? In my statistics class, I do have students take the key terms and they're allowed to Google a definition. Then they have to put it in their own words. Whoa! You can tell they're not getting it, when they put it in their own words. So that's why I go, oh, crap, okay, we need to go over this again in class. No problem. But again, it's not no one's fault. It is a difficult term to understand. It's something new, something unfamiliar. Okay, so again, semantics again go beyond surface learning, go into that depth and breadth, create phrases, sentences, analogies, relationships, okay, to help you understand. Put it in your own words. All right, now in encoding, we do rehearsal. Okay. College athletes, community college athletes, university athletes, practice one sport 3 to 5 hours a day. It depends upon the sport, okay? 5 to 6 days a week so that they can be at their peak performance. All right? After all, they have a game to play. They're expected to win some competitions. All right. They'll spend, let's say, approximately 20 hours a week. Students carrying 12 credit classes. 12 credit hours. 4 classes are expected to study about 4.5 to 6 hours per class, per week. That's outside of instruction, outside of your lecture. Okay? Students are expected to perform well on exams. These guys score big points. You guys also score big points. Okay? Approximate hours per week for 4 classes, about 20 hours. Which group do you think is probably more diligent about doing their 20 hours? Yeah. And some of you may do the 20 hours and more. And don't stop. Because you will go to a university and you will graduate. And again, go to graduate school and all become doctors. Because we can. All right. Encoding, rehearsal again. Drill equals skill. Again, no matter what class you're taking, if you're having a hard time understanding the information, you just have to read over and over and over and over and over. I'm sorry. Look at the scores from the PISA. All of the Asian countries and the European countries, they get that. We have a hard time in the United States. On one of our news channels in Phoenix, they were talking about, I didn't catch the story, but they were talking about doing away with homework in schools. And I thought, oh my gosh. And we wonder why we're not doing so great. I understand there are lousy teachers, I do get that. But we also have to take our responsibility and study and learn. Okay. Basically, rehearse, repeat, rehearse, repeat. How are students and actors and actresses any different? If you ever have a chance, this is an old movie, but please see Notting Hill. Julia Roberts stars in it and Hugh Grant. And Julia Roberts plays a famous actress, and Hugh Grant owns this itty-bitty little tiny little bookstore. Anyway, they kind of fall in love, and Hugh has an opportunity to sneak off with her and help her practice her lines. Repetition, repetition, repetition. And the thing is, can she just make up the lines as she goes along? No. She has to repeat back exactly the lines. And How are you different as a student? Can you make up information about atoms? No. There's one thing, and you've got to study it, you've got to know it. Okay, so retrieve and replace is basically study. You're going over your notes, maybe rewriting your notes. Okay? Again, ladies and gentlemen, I can't make studying faster, easier, more fun. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. The more you read the information, you pull it out, you put it back and forth, the better off you are. You are building those neural synapses. Okay, this is not exactly what I wanted, but this is the best I could find. These are, notice the neurons here, newborn, 1 month, 6 months, 2 years of age. Okay, notice we're all born with about 100 billion neurons at birth. Now, apparently we lose some every day and die. However, the ones remaining, 100 billion, it's still a lot, so we don't have too much to worry about. But if you look what happens when you learn. Did you know that, and again, this is the best example I could come up with. They didn't have any adult brains of college students. Did you know that your brain can increase by itty bitty amounts the more you learn? That's about, it's like minuscule, but it's, your brain actually does get heavier. Okay, so retrieval and replace strategies, again, studying new information has to be done routinely. You can't just go and do it once a week. You have to take your notes from your classes and maybe twice, 3 times a week go over them. You have to, if you want to learn this long term. Gosh, I don't want to upset you or make you angry, but that's what people in China and Japan, that's what a lot of the Asian countries do. Man, oh man, they repeat, rehearse, and study a lot. Spend a lot of time. Cramming is a huge waste of time, money, or effort, because you will forget that information much more quickly. Strategies, question, summarize, rewrite notes, note cards, concept mapping is wonderful. If you're not sure what that is, Google it. They'll give you all kinds of ideas. And by the way, you are really lucky to be alive because there are so many things available on Google. There are songs in YouTube where you can learn like the bones in the body, and there's many of these little shortcut strategies to help you memorize things. Clarifying, reiterating mnemonics, acronyms. Doctors do this all the time. The military, lots of acronyms as well. Chunk, cluster, categorize, algorithms. Finally, what we encode, what we retrieve and rehearse is what we become. Are you encoding and rehearsing optimism, optimistic thoughts? Or are you a negative person? Do you hang around negative people? Energy vampires. Dr. Steve Ornells, he's another psych faculty at CAC. He talks about them all the time. Everything we do is a choice. Everything we do is a choice. You can choose to be happy, you can choose to be sad. Happiness is a choice. Do you engage in inspiring habits that are going to move you forward? Or do you spend a lot of time in habits that are probably slowing you down, making you less effective? Habits that bring us into our future, or habits that are going to keep us right here, right now, in our past. Neuroplasticity of neurons allows us to change if we wish. This is extremely powerful. Like I said, from birth we have about 100 billion neurons. They die over time. Of course, if you drink a lot of alcohol, take drugs, that can speed up the process for you. If you have head injuries, that's impactful as well, and not in a good way. But it means that other parts of our brain pick up the slack. So you're always able to learn. All right. This is from Dr. Perlmutter. He is a neurologist, a clinical neurologist, amazing man. Neuroplasticity provides us with a brain that can adapt not only to changes inflicted by damage. So if you do get in a car accident or you're an athlete and you do hurt your brain, it allows us to adapt to different experiences and changes that we may encounter. And this is a little bit more on brain neuroplasticity. Neurogenesis, this is relatively new. and a wonderful thing where the brain continuous generation of new neurons in certain brain regions, but certain brain regions. New synapses, new skills, experiences create new neural connections, strengthen synapses, repetition, practice, and then weaken synapses, connections in the brain that aren't used often become weak. This is how we forget. I spoke with Tanya, who is kind of overseeing all the events tonight. She's so wonderful. We were talking, I used to speak Polish, and she speaks an Eastern European language as well, but we're forgetting it because we have no one to rehearse with. Okay, neuroplasticity research showed that the brain changes its very structure with each different activity it performs, predicting its circuits, perfecting its circuits. Repetition, repetition, repetition. So it's better suited to the task at hand. The last stage, maintenance, use it or lose it. Maintenance is pretty much the courses that will be related to your career. Those are the ones that you're really going to remember the most because you need them. All right. Again, it's automaticity. This is also what we call long-term memory. Automaticity is what we try very hard to achieve, especially in the career we go into. I want you to imagine if a surgeon, if a physician, if a nurse did not achieve automaticity, okay? You come in, you've been in a horrible accident, okay, you're bleeding all over the place, and the nurse comes and goes, let me look at my textbook, I'll be right back. And goes back to check it. Oh, let me Google this, I'm not sure what to do. We don't want anyone like that. You want to know your stuff. As an engineer, as a teacher, as whatever you choose to do, you have to know your content and know it well. Okay, in the brain, we retrieve information stored in long-term memory. Quite often, hippocampus is one, different parts of the brain as well. Trial and error learning occurs now. This is where you're taking the new information you've learned and you are using it. And you're finding out how it works really well and how it doesn't work very well. And again, it's very systematic. You have to do this routinely. The big thing is routine, routine, routine. Synthesis, analysis, comparisons. Again, you have to go to that deeper level of thinking. I love this. Stephen Hawking. I just have to throw this in because, you know what, we obsess over intelligence as being academics, academics, academics. Well, cognitive educational psychologists say, what about dealing with everyday life? What about people who are really crazy creative? Okay, that's intelligence. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. Very powerful. All right. Okay, this, I'm just going to take like 60 seconds. I use Cengage for a couple of my classes. And it came up, they asked students for their best study tips. Read materials before class. Okay, you probably heard that. You're probably sick of it. I'll confess, I didn't do it all the time either. But boy, it made a difference. In a pinch, read and answer the review questions at the end of each subsection. If you can't read the whole chapter, at least answer those. Go into class with some prior knowledge. When your teacher talks about statistics, chemistry, physics, psychology, whatever, you have some working knowledge, some prior knowledge to work with. And then your instructor repeats the information and you make stronger connections. Good note takers are attentive. Attend. Take good notes. Review your notes every night. This is what this student recommends. Always ask questions during class if you don't understand, or during class, after class if you're a little shy. Because if you're studying the wrong information and you take an exam, how are you going to do on that test? You're going to do very poorly because you studied the wrong information. There were gaps in your information. Highlight and look up what you don't understand. Paraphrase a lot. Put things into your own words. Taking good notes once again, another student stresses. The very act of writing the information down helps embed it into memory. The most effective note-taking is active again, attend, involved. Note that just taking notes is not enough. Read the textbook. Go to class. I think you guys know that already. I believe that putting things into your own words, this is huge. If you can put things into your own words and your definition is accurate, you're good. You'll have an easier time remembering it because it's in language you understand. Focus on understanding material and making connections with prior knowledge. And finally, once some of the learning activities and assignments are done, review your notes and highlight it again. It's the same thing, but these students are very successful, and this is what they do. All right. I love Nike. Not just the swoosh, but I just love to just do it. What happens when we overthink stuff? We go from the upstairs to the downstairs to that the limbic system. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I want to go out. I want to sleep. I want blah 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 blah. We talk ourselves out of stuff. Okay. If knowledge is power and learning increases knowledge, then learning is power. You have one life to live. You have one life on this planet, and hopefully you understand that your brain is enormous and has tremendous capacity. Remember, the brain does not know your ethnic culture, does not know your skin color, does not know your race, does not know your gender, none of that. It just wants to learn. But you have to treat it right and do right by it. Comments, questions? Questions? How about one last thing? I hope this makes you laugh. Basically, in summary, oh, yeah, that's for me. Oh, here.
Can we play that YouTube?
I guess. Okay, anyway.
Thank you for